Good evening and welcome to News. I'm Salma Taba. Coming up in tonight's edition of News, Sierra Leone's ambassador to China bids farewell to President Biyo at State House. Minister of Health and Sanitation presents air tickets to nurses leaving for course in China. And Minister of Planning and Economic Development meets with the Sierra Leone Labour Congress. All the stories and more, including sports and entertainment, all lined up tonight. Welcome to News. The ambassador of the People's Republic of China, Ernest Ndomaina, has bid farewell to President Biyo at State House to take up duty in his mission. Ambassador Ndomaina expressed appreciation to President Biyo for his appointment to represent Sierra Leone in the People's Republic of China. Reports.
Ambassador Ernest Ndomaina expressed gratitude to President Julius Maada Bio for the confidence reposed in him to represent Sierra Leone in the People's Republic of China. He will make sure that the bilateral ties continue between the two countries.
On behalf of this family, I want to say I'm humbled and honored. The trust and confidence you bestowed upon me to go as an ambassador to the People's Republic of China. Your trust and confidence, I will not ever betray. I'm very honored, sir.
President Julius Maada Bio congratulated Ambassador Ndomaina for accepting the position, as he has no doubt in him to represent Sierra Leone out there, calling on him to put the country first in whatever he does.
I know that you are up to the task ahead of you, but I just want you to know that I will give you all the support that you need and deserve to be able to perform your duty. Wish you well, success during your tenure, and of course you have the ministry as a point of contact, but don't hesitate to always contact me if you are in doubt, to have all the support you need.
In another development, the First Lady Fatima Bio presented contestants for this year's Miss Sierra Leone beauty pageant to President Bio at State House. The First Lady said the participants are representing the 16 districts in the country. She said that the beauty pageant is about showcasing the strength, beauty, and intelligence of the Sierra Leonean woman.
Whoever wins the Miss Sierra Leone from now onwards will not only be a beauty queen but a true ambassador for this country that will represent our country and promote our country and promote our country's tourism, which I know you have passion for, and my support to them is unlimited. I don't have all the resources to give them, I don't have everything, but what I have is the drive and it's the will to find the president wherever the president is and make sure he listens to the Miss Sierra Leone and the Miss Sierra Leone organization.
President Julius Maada Bio described the pageants as winners of their respective district, but it is going to be extremely difficult to choose among them because they are all beautiful. But at the end of the contest, there is going to be a choice who will represent Sierra Leone.
First, I want to wish you good luck. You are all winners already because you won your various districts also. And now we can see the beauty of Sierra Leone. And for the technical staff who are going to be there, they are going to look at not only the external beauty, but also the internal beauty. How they are going to be able to see it, I don't know. But I think by listening to you and through interaction, they will be able to know that you are truly beautiful and you can be a good ambassador for this country.
Beauty Pageants Contest is an annual event that is organized by different organizations, including the private sector. But let us see who will be the winner of this year's contest. SABC TV News are in Freetown. How must we reporting?
Minister of Health and Sanitation, Dr. Alpha Tijani has presented 16 air tickets to nurses that will be leaving Sierra Leone to China to study nursing. The presentation of the air tickets took place at the Ministry's conference room, U Building, as the Mary Summer reports.
Okay. Bandura, come back and do well. Okay. Thank you. Kamara Francis, thanks a lot. Come on.
These are nurses who received their air tickets from the Minister of Health and Sanitation. They will be trained in maternal and child health education, immunization, and interpreting Chinese medical forms in the training course. Addressing the second batch of nurses going to China, the acting chief nursing medical officer, Haja Aminata Nuni, encouraged the nurses to be proactive in the training and to ensure that they implement the skills that they will have get from China.
All of us here are aware of the gloomy and unacceptable maternal and child health indicators that we have as a country. And I want to believe we all have the desire to change that image. And this is a huge opportunity that has been presented for that change to be made. Immunization, maternal and child health, they are very critical. They are indicators of development of any country. So if we want to move forward, it means our mothers have to be healthy, and our infants particularly, if it puts them in a better state. Immunization, we know they are still children are still dying from vaccine preventable diseases. So I want to believe that with the knowledge and skills that will be gained, when you come back, you will help in improving the immunization service delivery.
Presenting the air tickets to the nurses, Minister of Health and Sanitation, Dr. Alpha Wuri, said the ministry requires highly skilled personnel in executing their duties. According to him, the nurses should provide services to the provinces and not limit themselves to Freetown. They should be ready to work anywhere in the country and be an example to their colleagues. Dr. Wuri encouraged the participants to be confident in the cause.
The country has done quite well with regards to immunization levels, but in the peripheral, in the let me say the boundary districts like Kabbalah, like Cambria or Puja, we tend to lose large numbers. The last time we had an outbreak which was controlled within a very short period of time of measles, an outbreak of measles at the Kabbalah end, a place called Masado in Falabad district. If there were no personnel of your level, of your skills, of your exposure, the whole country would be exposed to that.
Speaking on behalf of her colleague nurses, Reginald Kumbalantana thanked the government of Sierra Leone through the Ministry of Health and Sanitation for giving them the opportunity to acquire more knowledge in China. Esther Marie Samuel reporting for SLBC TV.
The Ministry of Planning and Economic Development, in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance, has held a one-day consultation with ministries, departments and agencies, civil society organizations, NGOs, on the preparations of Sierra Leone's new National Development Plan. The continuous consultation is to ensure that the plan reflects the views of citizens. The session was held at the Miata Conference Center, Brookfields. Joseph Toure filed this reports.
To plan is planning to fail, as people usually say. This over the years has been one of the causes that hinder countries in the sub-region from economic development. It is from this backdrop that the Ministry of Planning and Economic Development has embarked on a nationwide consultation. According to the Minister of Planning and Economic Development, Nabila Tunis, this planning process will transform the country for generations. She noted that though the process is difficult, they will ensure that every part of the country participates in the process, as it aims to give power back to the people. The minister registered that the process will also take a national and collective approach. She called on the participants to make meaningful contributions into the process, as it into the process as it is a Sierra Leonean owned. Updating participants on the entire process, the director at the Ministry of Planning and Economic Development disclosed that they have reviewed recent documents of the government and have learned from them to avoid mistakes of the past government. He noted that they will take the consultation process from district to district because they have realized that priorities of the people vary from one district to another. Mr. Kebe highlighted that the planned process focuses on eight clusters, and these include education and development, human development, transforming the economy, governance for accountability, infrastructure, and economic competitiveness.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Planning and Economic Development met with stakeholders in the Labour Congress sector. Francis Barnard reports.
The Poverty Reduction Strategy Paper 4, which was launched in July this year, is the document that will replace the Agenda for Prosperity, which will end in December this year. It will focus on 8 policy clusters which have been conceived to form the next development plan of the country. These clusters were derived from the background research drawn from progress made, lessons and challenges related to the Agenda for Prosperity. It is against this background that the Ministry of Planning and Economic Development has started this engagement with stakeholders. According to the Deputy Minister of Planning and Economic Development, Dr. Robert Chakanda, the meeting was to update the membership of the Union about the government's National Development Plan, which focuses on 8 development plans in the next coming years. Dr. Chakanda said the meeting is in line with effective consultations with line ministries, departments, agencies and development partners.
This meeting is about the National Development Plan that we are developing at the Ministry of Planning and Economic Development. It's a very important document, and we know it is going to be our benchmark. It's also going to be our roadmap for development programs of this country. So this is why we came to the Congress. The Congress is a very huge organization. I mean, it's cross-cutting because it has got all different groups of trade and industry factors. So when they speak, it's for a large number of people in this country. So that's why we use it as a major point for our representative.
Dr. Chakanda pleaded with all to embrace the implementation of the PRSP4. President of the Sierra Leone Labour Congress, Jennings Wright, said this is the first time his organization has been engaged in mapping out the way forward for the development of the country. He therefore said they will continue to engage their members to come forward with a position paper. Mr. Wright said he will want to see a well-organized document that will stand the test of time, irrespective of politics.
I would like to see a document that will stand the test of time. I would like to see a document that will take on board the needs of us as Sierra Leoneans, so that the document can be usable at any time. Not necessary that government will have all the money to start and complete. But if we recover 3 or 5 aspects, then later when we have money, we can cover the other aspects.
In another engagement, the Deputy Ministers of Finance and Planning and Economic Development met with civil society organizations, non-state actors and other development partners in the conference room of the Ministry of Finance at George Street in Freetown. This engagement is part of their continued engagement with stakeholders in order to popularize the PRSP4 documents. Representatives from different organizations also contributed to the discussions. For SLBC News, Francis Barnard reporting.
United Nations Women has organized a training session for 72 young women entrepreneurs in the Western EA. The training is to strengthen resilience and self-reliance of young women in the Western EA and is part of efforts to see more women taking the lead in the entrepreneurship sector. The training was held at Sierra Lighthouse Hotel, Aberdeen. Joseph Toure filed in this report.
Gone are the days when women totally relied on men for survival, and one of these ways for women to be economically independent is through entrepreneurship. Businesses are now embarking on making legacy than surviving only, and as young women entrepreneurs, they were taught to always see the need and solve problems. One of the key problems identified at the beginning of the training was that many entrepreneurs fail because they lack business plans. During the interactive training session, the young entrepreneur trainees were made to understand that they need to involve in business that would stand the test of time. As young entrepreneurs, they need to have business strength, acknowledge their weakness, and see the opportunities available, and to be ready to counter the possible threats. Partnership and Coordination Specialist, UN Women, David Edward Lahai, gave an overview of the entire training package. He said that they have plans to train and empower 400 young women entrepreneurs in the Western area. He added that at the end of the training, those who will go through successfully will receive capital to continue with their business ideas.
This training is geared towards building the capacities, enhancing the capacities of entrepreneurs, young women entrepreneurs that have gone through the selection process, competitive process, sent in concept notes and applications for Young Women Grant Support, which include an investment capital, training and mentorship in order to stimulate businesses.
Participants after the training session disclosed that they have learned a lot and promised to put them into practice.
I am Mahawa Lahai, founder, creative director of Chairman's Designs. Okay. Well, we've learned a lot. First of all, I want to say it's a blessing to be part of the UN Women Funding Project. I count myself lucky and blessed to be here today. And we've learned a lot. We've learned how to take our businesses to the next level, how to do business plans.
I'm Horatia and I'm from Rolling Stone Innovation, where we do license and business permitted from all government organizations. Well, I'll first of all say this is a great privilege for me to be part of the UN Women, and I'm blessed to be. So I've learned a lot, especially how to be a good entrepreneur, how to manage a business, and how to target your goals.
If our young women should take the lead in contributing to the growth of the economy, they need to be self-reliant.
Deputy Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, Evelyn Blackie, has told lecturers and students of Jella University that the reason for the mineral sector reform is to enhance transparency, accountability, and to transform the sector as an engine of economic growth. She was speaking during a seminar on mineral sector reform at Jella University. Jella campus to the input into the reform process. Ibrahim Suma reports.
Unlocking the potentials of the mineral sector for economic growth and sustainable development in Sierra Leone was the theme for the mineral sector reforms, targeting lecturers and students of Jella University. The forum is one of planned series of activities under the new direction to transform the Mines Ministry as a vehicle for economic growth. The forum discussed the various regimes and policies of the mines and mineral sector. Vice-Chancellor and Principal Jella University, Professor Abdullah Mansari, applauded the Minister for engaging them and students for their contributions into the process. He stressed the need to reform the mineral sector.
It's important that as partners, we get to know, we get to be part of the process. And that's what I believe this seminar is all about. We have a very vibrant capacity development program at Jella University. We have the advantage, of course, of being a university in the provinces of here, and our programs are designed to impact immediately on our proximate as well as remote environment.
Deputy Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources Evelyn Blackie emphasized the role of academic institutions in the mineral sector reforms, noting that the move is to sanitize the mineral sector for economic growth and increase transparency and accountability. The reforms, she went on, will focus on reforming existing laws and mineral policies. Madam Blackie lauded donor and development partners for their support to their ministry to improve on transparency and accountability in the mineral sector. The Mineral Policy Advisor, Ministry of Mines, Daniel Bondo, cited minerals exploitation as a cause to the conflict, and in the case of Sierra Leone, its natural resources have not yet benefited Sierra Leoneans. He lectured the students on the various mineral regimes and highlighted government strides in reforming the mineral sector.
We are here at the Njala University to engage with the faculty and staff and students of the university to discuss the reforms that are currently going on in the mineral sector, to see what government is doing to optimize the benefits that we can get from the mineral sector, to engage with students to increase their interest in reading courses that are related to mineral sector development, particularly those courses that relate to policy formulation here at the Njala University.
Ibrahim Samora, Freetown.
People with albinism in some parts of Africa are hunted for their body parts. There is an African superstition that albino people are not truly human. Many believe that they are demons or ghosts, but in Sierra Leone, they are faced with the problem of stigmatization. Tanzania is thought to have the largest population of albinos in Africa. For Black Africans, albinos' life is a living hell. Let's join our own Hawabai as she takes a look at the life of some people with albinism in Sierra Leone.
Life have been tough for these men and women. Growing up with albinism in Sierra Leone is challenging. It has not been easy for these people. Society continues to stigmatize and discriminate them. Family members even abandon them because of their condition. 43-year-old Mohamed Lamin Jallo, since birth, was rejected by his biological father because of his skin color. He says because of the provocation, he used to fight a lot in school. That was the beginning of his problems. When he was a petty trader, he would hardly make sales. People won't buy foodstuff from him. Now that he is a cattle trader, he has to sit from a distance and ask his fellow traders to sell for him. His wife was the first to abandon him when things became tough, followed by his teenage daughter, who didn't want people to know that he is her biological father.
So when I'm matured now, you don't do SS1.
Now that she is matured and in senior secondary school, she walked up to me and told me she can't stand the provocation anymore. She would never tell people that I am her father. I pleaded with her, but I decided to end the relationship with her mom. I went to fetch her, but I was greeted with abusive words from her mom's parents.
23-year-old Kelvin Solomon Musa, a second-year computer hardware student at the Government Technical Institute, GTI, was abandoned by his mother at the age of 3 months. His paternal grandmother took him in. His mother only accepted him when she eventually gave birth to another albino. He has learned how to cope with the provocation.
Although the mocking the gone, but I still accept.
The provocation will always be there. I have learned to embrace my condition. If others can embrace themselves, why can't I? I embrace myself. When colleagues call me Kelvin Juice, I also call them Black. I am also a disc jockey, and my nickname is DJ Juice. I just smile and move on. Life must go on. It is what it is.
Sheku Kaba's story is quite different from the other two. He is the last born and was shown all the love and care he needed when growing up. This was because he was in the provincial towns. He says poor eyesight made learning very difficult for him. This is his third marriage. He says the stigmatization and provocation drove his first two wives away as a result of family pressure. Sheku has a complication which demands thousands of dollars for treatment.
In 2008, there came some visiting surgeons. They were white, and you know this white man complex. And so my guys said, oh, look, let them try to do this thing for you. They can fix it. So what happened? Unfortunately, I was convinced. So I went there. They tried to do that kind of surgery to remove that cut. Okay? But they did that. In 2008, the sore was not healing at all. It was not healing. 2008, 2009, things were just getting worse.
Despite his disability, he is the coordinator of the Islamic Development Mission Hospital.
Being an albino in this part of the world is quite challenging. Their greatest problem in this country is discrimination. They are also challenged with the problem of high cost of medical treatment for their condition.
Taking care of their skin and other related health issues is quite expensive for people living with albinism. Major Dr. Philip Pelema Gevao is a specialist in applied epidemiology. Major Dr. Philip Pelema Gevao is a specialist in applied epidemiology. He highlights medical condition people with albinism suffer from and suggests regular treatment for them.
Albinism basically could affect the eyes, the hair, and the skin. So the complications for the eye are, number one, we have what we usually call nystagmus. Nystagmus is a condition in which you have rhythmic movement of your eyelids. It could be in the upward or downward direction. That is one. Secondly, they are also photophobic, in the sense they are intolerant to sunlight. So most of them, when they are exposed to direct rays of the sun, they will definitely, they are unable to tolerate that, like you and I.
Sheku Kaba is concerned about the rights of people living with disability. They are part of the organization Albino Savers Association, which is struggling with funds to champion the issues albinos are challenged with.
This idea of discrimination has been even within ourselves. The society has forced us to accept discrimination. You will see your albino, okay, your colleague albino, you know, the system will force you to deny him for who he is.
Many thanks to Hal Barry for looking into the lives of albinos in Sierra Leone. 40 security personnel from the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces and other allied forces, including other security agencies, have completed a 20-week junior staff course on leadership management and command skills at the Houghton Academy, Hill Station. The training has empowered the officers in public administration and contemporary security issues, which will enable them to effectively conduct security operations both local and internationally. Judith Sana reports.
These officers from the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, the Gambia, Guinea, Liberia, the Sierra Leone Police, Office of the National Security and Sierra Leone Road Safety Authority have gained knowledge in leadership, management and command skills, which enable them get command and staff appointments at the next level. The training also gives the students a system perspective tools to assist their commanders address the challenges faced in trying to keep the environment safe and secure. The Director of Studies, International Security Advisory Team, ISAT, Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Travers, expressed commitment in capacitating the AXLAF for effective security nationally and internationally. He called on the student officers to exhibit the knowledge gained productively. Chief Instructor Hutton Academy Wing Commander Shanks said the 20-week junior staff course caters for the ranks of lieutenants and captains or their equivalents in other services. He added that the course was divided into 2 phases, which covered intensive instruction in public administration and management and military operations.
This module was very, very rich. The second phase of the course was purely military. As you all know, our business, our core business is to fight wars, make our country, the sub-region, and the world at large a safer place that will not give room to extremists or wicked or criminals.
He applauded the support of the guest lecturers from various institutions, including Frabe College, Institute of Public Administration and Management, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, among others, which added value to the course and enabled the graduates to be more effective and efficient in facing contemporary security issues. Representing the Commander Joint Force, Brigadier Fahimba Mara said it is an indisputable fact that the threats that confront our sub-region and our respective countries are numerous and evolving. Therefore, empowering security personnel on security operations is most important.
The career course you have completed is essential in shaping your future career path towards becoming officers that your institutions and countries will be proud of. Having gone through 20 weeks of staff training, you may agree with me that you are now leaving the Hutton Academy a different person.
He expressed thanks to the International Security Advisory Team ISAT for providing a capacity building program to officers in the AXLAF. He applauded the allied student officers from the Gambia, Liberia and Guinea for their efforts and representation, noting that their presence demonstrated the long-standing relationship that exists among its allied forces. He noted that since the inception of the Hutton Academy in 2003, over 100 foreigners graduated from the academy, including the current Minister of Defense in Liberia, which Sierra Leone is proud of. He congratulated the graduates for their hard work and called on them to develop personal efforts in their job by inculcating the culture of reading so that they will retain the knowledge gained. He also admonished them to refrain from those negative attitudes that have the tendency to undermine the command of their commanders. Certificates were awarded to deserving students with outstanding performances. Among them were the overall Best Student 2018, Lieutenant Kelfala Lansana, Best Allied Student, Captains Soko Saleh from Liberia, Best Service Paper, Captain Bintu Lo from the Gambia, and Best Inter-Agency Students, Deputy Route Commander Saidu Kamara, Sierra Leone Road Safety Authority. Judith Sana reporting for SLBC News R.
This is News R live on the SLBC. Residents of Moreton community have raised concern over the poor condition of the main road in the community, which links Aberdeen and Wilkinson Road. The road is riddled with many potholes and is causing slow vehicle movements. The Moreton Road serves as a bypass for commuters who use the Aberdeen Beach, Wilkinson and Lumley roads. Our own Sheila Ref visited the road to look at the status.
Moreton is one of the old settlements in Freetown and it is well known for fishing and also its pristine sea views. Community people are not happy with the condition of the road. According to Catherine Savage, a resident in the community, the road was constructed after independence, but since then the road has not undergone any rehabilitation. She said few years ago the engineers from the Moritown military barracks carried out maintenance on the road. In 2016, the SLRA and some Chinese engineers did a survey on the road, but work has not started. Mrs. Savage said at night it is difficult for drivers and passers-by. She expressed frustration that though the community hosts big businesses, including Million Tours, Cadco, Candle Factory, and Seabird Express, they have done nothing to change the condition of the road.
Up till now, they don't consider we small road.
Due to the bad road one night while coming from a friend's place, I fell down and hit my foot. And the road is very important because now the president uses it whenever he is going out of the country.
The road is small when they can come for travel.
A bike rider, Mohammed Bangura, called on the government to reconstruct the road for them as they transport pilgrims within Moritown community.
There are lots of communities in the village, but they are not giving helping hand, and that should be one of their corporate social responsibilities. So we are pleading with the government to help us.
A driver, Sir Ndomaina, said because of the potholes, they have to visit the garage every day to repair their vehicles.
Due to the bad condition of the road, it causes logjam every day, and driver consume a lot of fuel because of the long time they spend on the traffic. We are most time unable to make profits.
That was Sheila Efo reporting on the status of the Moritown Road. Partners of the Cotton Tree Foundation from Holland have commended the government of Sierra Leone for introducing the free education. They made this commendation during a visit to the Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, Alpha Timbo, at his ministry's office, New England. Owner Patrick Kumar reports.
The Cotton Tree Foundation has been building schools, supporting school feeding programs, providing training for teachers and school learning materials for pupils in the country. According to the Executive Director, Cotton Tree Foundation, Jean Cameron, as a non-governmental organization, they have been complementing government's effort in strengthening education in the country. They have been taking care of teachers in deprived communities, and they have built over 20 schools across the country from support from Holland World Servant, their partner.
As an organization supporting education in this country, we don't only construct schools, we also support the running of the schools. We do feeding programs, we provide school supplies for the children, and we also train the teachers so the pupils will have quality education. So we are here, sir, to see you at work and to congratulate you for the free education.
The team leader, World Servant from Holland, Kees Vaches, commended the government for introducing free education for Sierra Leoneans, and through the Cotton Tree Foundation, they will be supporting government in implementing the scheme. The Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, Alpha Timbo, said as a government they introduced the free education because it has huge benefits for the citizenry. Amidst the huge financial implications to the free education program, they will ensure that the program will succeed. They will be opening a bank account so that people all over the world will be donating.
But together with a basket, not fund for education for development, right? This meeting we are about to convene is to come and formalize the bank accounts for that, where we'll be asking friends all over the world, including locals, to make their own modest contribution at a form in the education basket fund. What we are trying to do is to make sure that every contribution is recorded and the information published at the end of every month so that people know how we move forward.
The process for the opening of the bank account is presently on the pipeline, and information about the bank account will be communicated soon to members of the public.
The Rotaract Club of Mount Oriel has inducted its new president and board members at the Afisel American Corner at Battle Street. The club was set up to develop professional and leadership skills and also address the needs and concerns of young people. Honor to Conte filing this report. Rotary Club is the junior wing of the Rotary Club of Freetown. Through Rotary Clubs, people from all continents and cultures come together to exchange ideas and form relationships and professional connections while making a difference in their backyards and around the world. For more than 110 years, the club has bridged cultures and continents to champion peace, fight literacy and poverty, promote clean water and sanitation, and fight disease. The outgone president, Rotaracto Jehu Hansels, spoke about activities and support rendered by the Rotaract Club over the years, citing education and hygiene and the August 14th mudslide. He assured the new executive of his support to see that they achieve their goals.
Time does fly, and it has been a pleasure serving and an experience-filled journey for me. All glory to God. I am grateful to everyone who in diverse ways helped and
this journey with me. There is still much to be done, and I believe that a foundation has been set for my successor to build on. I wish the new executive all the best as we continue to serve, build goodwill and better friendships.
New president of Wotaracto, Alpha Algali, said the create ways to ensure the club is represented at national and international levels. He promised that they will expand the clubs and engage in more projects.
Amongst those plans are to charter new Rotaract clubs in the Institute of Public Administration and Management, IPAM, and the College of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences. These two clubs will first join us to start and learn the process of Rotaract. And as the membership increases, they will eventually be chartered on their own.
Ms. Algali said they will give back what they have learned to strengthen the Rotaract Club. For entertainment tonight, the Leading Stars Film Production is a movie production that has been in existence for the past 5 years. The founder and director of the production, Alpha Jallo, and crew came to a broadcasting house in connection with the production of a new movie titled Free Education. Mohamed King Milan Bangwa reports.
The Leading Stars Film Production is a movie production that has been in existence for the past 5 years. The founder and director of the production, Alpha Jallo, said the filming production has released about 4 movies since 2013, like Deadly Passion, Not Freddy Partner, which was released to sensitize the public on the dangers of Ebola, and Patiwala, which was released during the elections. Alpha said for the past 10 years he has been making movies. He said the passion for making movie came to him like a miracle, as nobody taught him how to write or produce a movie. He said he got his idea through dreams and decided to make them a reality by buying a camera and shooting movies. Alpha Jallo came to Broadcasting House along with his assistant director Usman Aruna aka Nego J and his coordinator Harrison Komba Kaba to explain the release of their new movie titled Free Education in support of the president's vision for a free education in the country. But what is so special about this movie?
One, if any parent
watch this movie, he will understand that This free education is not for the parent or any elderly person who is working and want to stop the work and then go to school. If you don't allow your kids to attend this education, your kid will end up bad. Like the boys, they will go out in the street and the girls will carry their bags around the street, just like that.
for just all bag and go on the street.
One of the cast in the movie, Margaret M. Fofana, said she knew nothing about acting and had never been to school. Because she supported the president's idea of free education, she gave all her time to the crew to shoot the movie. She said her role in the movie portrays an illiterate housewife who completely misunderstands the concept of free education. We find out that most of our sisters will go to the provinces and adopt a kid, and with a promise to their parents that they will send the kids to school in the city, and at the end they will never attend any school.
Right now I go school. I don't count if kid, I don't pull another day. What's in school where go put them. I don't count they say right now free education. Man, I don't put some point flag say free education. And me I don't decide for go school.
Alpha Jallow said the movie will be released on Saturday and promised the general public to grab a copy, as it is not only a comedy but also teaches parents how to make use of the free education concept. What are the future plans for the Leading Stars film production?
I want to promise me people out.
I want to promise our fans out there that after this movie, the next movie that we produce will definitely be a hit more than any other movies that we've released.
Man, it go past all the movie the way we don't pull.
My name is Sento Kuruma.
Nene Adakuruma is a Sierra Leonean painter, TV host and singer based in China. About 5 years ago, Ada formed a foundation called Queen Nak Foundation to help the less privileged people. Queen Nak, as she is popularly called, has decided to embark on a campaign against domestic violence. Queen Nak recently visited the First Lady of Sierra Leone, Mrs. Fatima Jabi Bio, to introduce herself and her project to her. Queen Nak expressed how happy she was in meeting the First Lady, whom she considered as a woman of substance and a mother of the nation. She spoke of a structure she is putting up at the Newton area to help children of the community go to school and also support the president's agenda in making the free education a reality. Later on Thursday, Nene Adayang donated 40 million leones to the First Lady to help support her project. The First Lady expressed her thanks and appreciation and promised to support her project. She advised her to make sure she concentrates on her project and promised to use the money for intended purpose, as the fight against domestic violence and girls' rights should be a must.
I know you ain't really been this life without you.
The Public Accounts Committee has ended a nationwide exercise probing into queries of the 2016 Auditor General's report on councils. A lot of anomalies were uncovered, for which most council officials were unable to give convincing explanations with supportive evidence to the committee. Nasruddin Kurma reports.
The Public Account Committee, PAC, is the Parliamentary Oversight Committee that is mandated to look into how ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, expend public funds to ensure that money spent for development projects are used judiciously in accordance with set standards, processes and procedures. Over a period of 10 days, the Public Account Committee concluded that a lot of recklessness in local government administration in the country has left over 20 billion leones unaccounted for in just one financial year, 2016. The committee clustered councils by regions for an exercise that lasted for 10 days. The chairman of the Public Account Committee is Honorable Senator Paul Solomon Thomas, who is also the Deputy Speaker of Parliament. Addressing council officials, said that the exercise was in the interest of the development of the nation. The committee discovered that senior management staff like the Chief Administrator, Finance Officer and Procurement Officer at each council for the financial year under review had expended monies meant for development projects without following procurement procedures and flouting financial management regulations. The Deputy Chairman of the Public Account Committee, Honorable Lahai Mara, cautioned finance officers on financial regulations which they as professionals are to abide by. From the Auditor General's report, billions of loans had gone astray, leaving substandard and unimplemented projects in almost every local council, although anomalies vary from council to council in Makini. The then finance officer, Abdul Bangura of the Tonkololi District Council, now at the Makini City Council, could not convince the auditors nor the PAC on the variations in financial statements, bank statements and receipt books amounting to 600 million loans. Among other areas of queries by the auditors was the lack of adequate supporting documents that disparity amounted to 1,085,513,000 loans. Abdul Bangura and other officials of the council were invited to Freetown for further probing. At the Kenema City Council, the Chief Administrator Vivian Senesi and the former Finance Officer David Kalon were asked to make a refund of over 7 million loans as revenue they collected in 2016, which was not banked as per regulation. The Kenema City Council officials failed to submit evidence of payments made by property owners amounting to 556 million loans. The PAC chairman had strong words for the council's administration.
Have yourself to blame for whatever we serve. This committee has all the authority to detain you, even as you sit here. This committee has the authority to detain you and to transfer you to Freetown. This committee has the authority to have you kept and charged to court. This committee has the authority to even pass judgment on you. This committee has the authority to even refer you to the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Chief Administrator Vivian Senesi could not make a convincing explanation on the use of public funds. CA Vivian Senesi also faced another tough engagement with the committee as it investigated the Bo District Council, where she was in 2016. She, together with others, was referred for further hearing in Freetown. The Bo City Council had more serious case than other councils within the southern region. Without wasting time, the PAC chairman, Honorable Thomas, made a ruling ordering the Bo City Council officials to be at Parliament first week in September. Councils were referred to further hearing on diverse dates between the 23rd of August and the 5th of September. The committee insisted that some council officials that had been referred to Freetown will end up with the Anti-Corruption Commission, while others will be at the Criminal Investigation Department for further investigation if they fail to provide the requisite evidences to convince the members of the PAC. SLBC News, Nasiruddin Koroman.
That will be our last news item tonight, and now tuning in the main points again. Salient's ambassador to the People's Republic of China has bid farewell to President Biyo. Minister of Health and Sanitation has presented air tickets to nurses living for course in China. And the Ministry of Plan and Economic Development has met with various stakeholders, including the Sierra Labour Congress, Ministries, Departments and agencies, civil society organizations, on the media, on nationwide consultations on the PRSP4. And that's all we can share in the news tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Sam Matiba. Good night.
Me and Musa, now Omolanke are the push for get me living. Gade, where I be the buy credit, the credits they done fast. In Ali Fole, I use my phone because the top up be so dear. But now, I tell God thank you, wait till I talk, now no money the cut.
Enjoy the most affordable tariff bill and at the most transparent way. Talk for 1 second and only pay for that second way you talk. Salon now we home. And the people them now we fumble. That's make we get it for you na first class mobile service experience.
Orange.
Oh, you're bagging number 10. You can don't beat the number 5. You don't beat the number 2. Face to face the keeper. Goal! Barry, to God, this is take something. I don't believe Barry take something. Trust me. La no lie, take something. Ben, you know what I take? Bomba yogurt. You see bomba yogurt? It will make it drink. It fast. You see it? Lie, I tell you. It get protein. It get vitamin. They make it fierce. Bomba yogurt. It then that cool my way get that to tire with the bubble in the ride. The fine one. Never take something. Bomba yogurt.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Seattel's 4G LTE. Buying your Seattel data bundles just got easier. Now you can use the Seattel customer webcare portal to buy data bundle. Whenever you see the screenshot pop up, it means your data is finished. Buy your recharge cards from any Seattel retailer and follow the following steps. Type webcarelt.seattel.sl in any URL, that is Google, Chrome or Internet Explorer. Enter username, password and click login. That is the login credentials shared